You tried to be the good man before your marriage fell apart. You held it together, stayed calm, and respectful. You did what you thought was right for her, for the family, and for your sense of honor. And for a while, it worked. People said you were handling it well. You were dependable, steady, and safe. But somewhere along the way, you stopped feeling like yourself. You started saying yes when you meant no. You smiled when you were angry. You dimmed who you are just to keep the peace. Here's the truth nobody really talks about. Being the good man isn't wrong, but it isn't free either. But trying to be the good man costs you something. And for a lot of men, it costs them everything that once made them feel alive. Your fire, your edge, your self-respect, and eventually, your confidence. If this sounds like your story, stay with me, because this is the moment where the performance ends and the rebuild begins. When you live your life trying to be the good man, you start building your identity around how others feel about you. You don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want any conflict. So you make yourself smaller, quieter, easier. You tell yourself you're being strong, doing the right thing, but really, you're disconnecting from your truth. That's why so many men lose their confidence after divorce. Because in marriage, you spent years adapting, fixing, pleasing, and proving you're reliable. When the marriage ends, all that conditioning stays, and now it works against you. You avoid confrontation, even when it's needed. You hide your anger, your truth, your boundaries, because being good became your survival. It builds up quietly until one day you realize you've lost your own voice. And you can't live a life in which you're afraid to be honest in. And here's the thing, the world rewards you for being good. You get approval, compliments, temporary peace. But it's a peace that rots from the inside out. Because every time you betray your truth for comfort, you teach yourself that your truth doesn't matter. And when the man starts believing that, his confidence doesn't fade overnight. It crumbles slowly, one compromise at a time. I remember the day I finally reached my limit. It wasn't some big explosion. It was quiet. It was another day trying to make everything right. Listening, fixing, trying to smooth over arguments. I could barely even remember how or why they started. And towards the end of the separation, I just gradually stopped doing it. Stopped the over-explaining. I stopped the overcompensating and stopped trying to end things well. But what I was really doing was still trying to give or earn peace I couldn't give myself. That shift temporarily made things worse. But for me, there was no turning back. I said nothing, but inside, I was done. Not angry, not bitter, just done. That was the day I told myself, I'm done trying to be good. I'm going to start being real. Here's the difference between a man who tries too hard to be good and a real man who's simply being himself. A good man says yes to keep the peace. A real man says no to keep integrity. A good man hides truth to protect feelings. A real man speaks truth because he respects both himself and others. A good man seeks validation, recognition, and appreciation. A real man lives by his values. The good man reacts. The real man leads. Confidence doesn't come from your image, your money, your six-pack abs, or your car. It comes from alignment. Because when you're aligned, you don't have to prove anything. Because you've built peace inside yourself. When you start choosing truth over comfort, your confidence becomes permanent. Because it's not borrowed from approval anymore. It's earned through self-respect. That's the edge you were meant to have all along. So what does that look like after a divorce? It looks like boundaries. Not for the woman or the women that you'll meet, but for yourself. Not anger, not control, just clarity. It looks like saying, no, that doesn't work for me without guilt. It looks like walking away when something violates your peace. Not because you don't care, but because you finally do. At first, you might feel self-resistant. The guilt, the tension, because every time you choose yourself, the old conditioning pushes back. But here's the thing, stay with it. Every time you choose truth over approval, your spine strengthens, your voice deepens, and your mind quiets. That's how you rebuild calm confidence. Not revenge, not performance, just presence. The man who no longer needs to perform, that's the man people feel before he even speaks. Women sense it because it's rare. Your children notice it because they feel safe again. And men respect it because it's real. And eventually, you'll feel it because you finally belong to yourself again. That's masculine authority. Not loud, not angry, just clear. If you spend years trying to be the good man, holding it together during your marriage and through divorce, fixing, explaining, and smoothing things out, It's time to stop. That version of you served a purpose. He got you exactly where you are right now. But he's not the man you're becoming. You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to be yourself, to rebuild your life without the mask. If you can relate, like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Because in the next video, we'll go deeper into that, into how to rebuild unshakable calm in a world that keeps testing you. It's time to be done trying or forcing to be a good man. It's time to just be real. And that's how you rebuild a kind of confidence that never leaves, ever.